Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial I will show you how you can make this almond off the shoulder top. It's quite easy to make. It's basic stitches, it's basic shapes, rectangles joined together and finished with this beautiful front post back post stitch. And yeah, once I was done, I added in some elastic thread. I slip stitch around, and that's why it is elastic like this. It's very comfortable. It doesn't fall off your shoulders. It's quite nice to add this thread. It was my first time and I like it. So I'll give you measurements for different sizes and you can make it in any size that you like, longer, shorter, whichever way that you like it. I styled it with jeans, but you can style it whichever way you like, and I think it goes with like everything. So we are just going to go straight into the tutorial. It's quite easy. So we are going to start with what we need, and for this tutorial I'm going to be using this yarn. It's durable cozy fine. It's from Durable Yarns. You can go to their website. I'll leave the links in my description box. It is 50 grams, 105 meters per ball, and I used 10 of these. It is a blend, 58% cotton and 42% polyacrylic. It is DK yarn size 3 and it is in color brick. It recommends a 4 to 4.5 millimeter hook size. I will use a 4 millimeter hook size. Yeah, you can use any other yarn, but I like the yarn, so check in my description box for how you can get it. You'll need scissors, hook size, any hook size recommended by your yarn, but I'm using a 4.0 millimeter hook, and you need a tape measure for measurements. And this is my elastic yarn. I got this thread, I got this on Amazon. You can find it at your local store maybe. We will start with the back panel, not the back panel but the tube at the bottom. So this, we need our bust measurements. I'll give you those. However, you will need the length of your top that you like. So take your measurements from under your armpit all the way to where you want your top to reach, and that will be our foundation chain here, and then we will work the almond stitch all the way until we have our width, which I will give you. Or if you like, you can take the measurements yourselves. It's like your bust measurements minus 7 or 8 inches because it's quite stretchy. The pattern is quite stretchy, so we leave that allowance for the stretch. So we are leaving out 8 to 7 inches from our bust measurements, but I'll give you the standard that you will need for this if you don't know how to measure yourself. All right, so once we are done with that, then we're going to do the sleeves. The sleeves is the same pattern, just different length. So you will measure yourself from under your arm still all the way to your wrist, how long you want your sleeve to be, from under your arm, under your armpit. And once you have that length, then I will give you the width of for the arm, the circumference, and that's what you will do for 2 sleeves, same number of rows, and yeah, that will be it. And once we have this, we have the sleeves, we have the top, the tube top, then we just join everything together into something like this. And yeah, so everything together, and then we do the ribbing. The ribbing will come at the top. So once we have sewed everything together, around here is where we'll do the ribbing. Okay, so it's quite easy. It's 3 rectangles, and I'm just going to show you how to do the stitch. I'll give you the measurements for the width. For the length, you'll do that on your own, because I don't know how long you want yours to be. You could want a crop top, a longer one, depends on what you like. Okay, so same stitch, just different is the length. So I'll show you how to do the stitch now. So for the almond stitch, you normally chain multiples of 8 plus 1. However, I don't like to count my stitches, so I am going to make my foundation chain. This is for the tube top. So I'm going to make my foundation chain longer than what I want it to be, and then I'll do row 1 and cut off the excess. I will show you how to do that. So I want my top to be 12 inches long. When you look at my pictures or my videos, that's 12 inches long, okay? So I'm going to chain something longer than 12 inches, but for this is a sample, so I'm just going to chain a little bit. So this is by sample, and how we're going to work this is you're going to skip the first stitch, right? And we're going to be working in these third loops behind here, this loop, that's where we're going to be working. So for our first row, you're going to skip the first stitch, and into the second stitch you are going to make a slip stitch. So we are working 4 slip stitches, 4 half double crochets. That's the pattern. So that's 1. Into the second chain, you're going to make your second slip stitch, and then you're going to make your third slip stitch, and into the next one you're going to make your 4th slip stitch. So we have 4 slip stitches, okay? And now next is going to be half double crochet, so you're going to yarn over. All right, so we have 4 slip stitches, and now we need 4 half double crochets. So you're going to go into the next chain and make a half double crochet. That's 1. You have 3 loops on the hook, so you make your second half double crochet, your third half double crochet, and your 4th half double crochet. All right, so we have slip stitches, 4 half double crochets, and now we're going to do 4 slip stitches. So we're just going to be alternating between these 4 slip stitches, 4 half double crochets, 4 slip stitches, 4 half double crochets. So you're going to just repeat this until you have the length of the top that you want. Mine is 12 inches, right? I don't know how long you want yours to be. It could be 9, could be 15, depends on what you prefer. Okay, so just put this on you from the top, from under your armpit all the way to where you want your top to reach. And once you have that length that you like, then we'll cut off the excess chain. However, one thing to note, you end with slip stitches. So we start with slip stitches and then we end with 4 slip stitches, okay? So end with 4 slip stitches. That is important, all right? So you start with slip stitch, you end with slip stitch. So now, once you have the length that you want, you're going to count 1, 2, 3 into the third chain, cut it like this, and then you are going to pull your yarn like this, and it's closed. All right, so we've cut off the excess chain. We didn't have to count our stitches. A win is a win, right? So for the next row, you're going to chain 1, which is our turning chain, and then turn your work, and we are going to be working only in the back loop. So this pattern is worked only in the back loop to give us those nice ridges in the back. So you're going to go into the first stitch in the back loop, make a slip stitch. That's 1. Now this is second slip stitch, third slip stitch, 4th slip stitch only in the back loop, and now you're going to work 4 half double crochets only in the back loop. So that is 1, next back loop, 2, next back loop, 3, next back loop, 4, and now we go back to the slip stitches. So in the back loop, slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, slip stitch 3, slip stitch 4, and now half double crochets. So 1, 2 half double crochets, third half double crochet, 4th half double crochet, and then you end with 4 slip stitches. So slip stitch in the back loop, that's 1, 2, 3, and for our last stitch we are going to work it into the last 2 loops, not only in the back loop but in the 2 loops, so that is more secure. So you're going to go under those 2 loops and make your last slip stitch. So that's 2 rows, right? So we're going to be repeating every 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. So now the third row is going to be different. Where we started with slip stitches in the first 2 rows, now for the third and fourth rows we are going to start with half double crochets, right? So you chain 1, turn your work, yarn over, and in the first back loop you make a half double crochet. That's 1. Next, half double crochet 2, half double crochet 3. We are still working in the back loop, half double crochet 4. And now we are going to switch to slip stitches. So slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, slip stitch 3, slip stitch 4, and then back to half double crochets. So you repeat this until you get to the end of your row, and at the end of your row you should have 4 half double crochets. You start with half double crochets, you end with half double crochets. You start with slip stitches, you end with slip stitches. So now I switch to half double crochets, half double crochet. That's my third one, and then my last one is going to go under those 2 loops, not only in the back loop but in both loops. Okay, last stitch is worked in both loops. There's no problem if you work it in one back loop, just looks better like this. So chain 1, and now row 4 we are going to repeat row 3. So yarn over and 4 half double crochets in the first 4 stitches in the back loop. And then 4 slip stitches, four half double crochets in the back loop, 4 slip stitches, and you're going to do this until you get to the end of your row. It should be longer than this, unless you want your top to be about, I don't know, 4 inches long, which is, yeah. So I'm expecting your top to be longer than this. Could be 10, 9, 8, 12, 15. I don't know how long you want it to be. So this is how it is worked. Now for the next, we have 4 rows now. We have 2 where we begin with single crochets, slip stitches, and then we have 2 where we begin with half double crochets. So now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and now we are going to go back to the slip stitches. So it's 2 beginning with slip stitch, 2 beginning with half double crochet, 2 beginning with slip stitch, 2 beginning with half double crochet. So you're going to make 4 half double crochet, slip stitches in the back loop, and then next is 4 half double crochets in the back loop. And then 3 half double slip stitches in the back loop. And basically this is our pattern. So you will do this same pattern because I'm not going to show you everything. I'll give you the measurements because it's the same, different rectangles, different foundation chains, length of the foundation chain, but the pattern is basically the same. All right, so for the back panel, for the top, the tube, and also for the sleeves, it's the same thing, just different length. Okay, so just keep repeating this until you have the measurements for your back panel, and I'm going to give you the width of the, why do I keep saying back panel? It's the the bust measurements around. I'm going to give you those, but if you like to take your own measurements, then take your own measurements and subtract 8 or 7. I already subtracted everything for you for what I give you, but you might want to make it more personal, so you can take your own measurements and subtract 8 or 7 inches. doesn't matter. So your last rows should be the half double crochet rows. Once you get the measurements of your top, the width, make sure your last rows are the half double crochet rows, because when we're joining them, then we are joining the half double crochet to the slip stitch row, and it joins nicely, and unlike if it was like joining the same thing. Okay, so make sure your last rows are the rows where you start with half double crochet and end with half double crochet. So keep repeating row 3 and row 4, row 5 and row 6, and I will meet you once you have the measurements. So just keep repeating until you have the width that I give you in this next chart. So as you can see, this is my top, and this is where I began, 12 inches long. That's the length of my top, and I worked all the way like this until I had my measurements. I'm an extra small, so that is 26 inches in width according to the chart. My bust is normally 33, 32, so minus 7, that is 26. So this is how it kind of fits when I try it on, and now we're going to close it, but first we do the sleeves. So for the sleeves, it's the same pattern, different length. So my sleeve is 20 inches long, so I measured from under my arm all the way to past my wrist area, 20 inches long, and this is how it looks. And this is 7 inches wide. Okay, so also make sure you're ending with that double crochet, half double crochet rows when you're ending the sleeve. And I'm going to give you the width of the sleeves, which are these measurements here. So mine is extra small, so mine I did 7 inches. So in width. So once we are done with that, we'll do the other sleeve, and then they lay like this before we sew everything together. So to sew everything, first we start with the tube top. You can check your top and see the inside and the outside, right? So for me, this is why I was telling you to end with a half double crochet row, right? It fits nicely like that. We are going to be sewing on the wrong side. I'm using a darning needle. For me, this is my right side that is going to be outside, so I need to turn it to the wrong side. This side will be inside, so that's where I'm going to sew. You can also use a slip stitch if you like. I think a needle looks neater in this case. So I'm going to be using the mattress stitch, I guess that's what it's called. So I will start from the bottom, and I will be working from inside out. Okay, so and I'm working only in the loops that are outside. So I'll first go into this to secure it, into this first loops here, stitches here to secure it, and then I'll work the mattress stitch only in the loops that are outside. So it's like go in from the inside and then out. In the outer loop, I go from inside and then out, and then the other side, the outer loop, in, out, in, out, in, out. And I'm just going to continue repeating this until my whole top is done. Then I have like a cube top, and then once I'm done with that, I'll do the same for the sleeves. Also the sleeves are also all along the sleeve, both sleeves, so that I have them in that cube form, and then I'll come back so that we can attach them to the cube top. All right, so you can use any other sewing method that you like. This is just basically what I know. So all the way to the top, and once you're done, it should look something like this. It doesn't really show, but I will put this on the side of the top, but you cannot tell, right? And this is on the wrong side anyway, so just sew in your loose ends. And once you turn it to the right side, this is how it looks. This stitch is beautiful. Yeah, so we have our tube top, and now we need to sew the sleeves, both of them. So do that, and this is how my tube top is looking on me at the moment. Yeah, so I have sewed the sleeves and attached one of the sleeves already, but I'm going to show you how to attach that. I already showed you how to sew, same method like you did with the cube top, you do with the sleeves. And now you're going to just join on the side like this. Put a stitch marker so that you know where the middle is. I just use yarn. So we just need to sew a little bit part of it to the top. So this is what I have. This right here on my left is where my middle is, and this is where I'm starting on my right. So 1, 2 ridges. So I have 2 ridges, and then that's the middle, and then I have 2 ridges on the left side. Okay, so I'm sewing only 2 ridges on the right, 2 ridges on the left, then I sew that whole part together. So I'm just going to go in and out, in and out, in and out. From the right to the middle and then to the left. For the bigger sizes like large, extra large, and XXL, you might leave about 3 ridges on each side. So once you're done, you're going to go ahead and do the other sleeve. And once you do the other sleeve, then we will come and do the ribbing at the of the shoulder. Yeah. So we are going to work around like this. Just go round and round and round, and because we will be pushing it outside, so we will work the rows from the inside. I will just show you. So we are going to start with a double crochet row first, and this will just work on the outside, that is the right side, right? So we'll work a row of double crochets. Just reattach your yarn anywhere, okay? And then you're going to chain 2 because the reattaching one will count as 1, and this chain 2 or chain 3 counts as a stitch, okay? So we are just going to go into the next stitch and make a double crochet. So we are going to go into every stitch with a double crochet. Okay, the stitches are not defined, but your intuition will tell you where to, insert it, because it's just make a double crochet where you think you see a stitch. So we're going to make double crochets all around, and I'll meet you back where we started so that we can close off the round and start on the front post, back post panel stitches. So I went all around, and this is coming to the end of the round. And to end the round, we are going to close it off with a slip stitch on top of that chain 3. So on top of this chain, go in there with a slip stitch, and then for row 2, for round 2, you're going to chain 3, and then we will turn our work. So this is when we will start working from the inside, and the inside will eventually be our outside. So we'll turn our work, and this is the only time we will turn our work. So next we'll just continue working round and round and round without turning our work. So chain 3 counts as a stitch, so you're going to go under the second double crochet, that double crochet there, and then you're going to make a front post. And next is going to be a back post, so you come from the back and make a back post. Next is a front post. I have explained this stitch 1,000 times, so you can check, you can just go to YouTube and type how to make a front post and back post if you're not familiar with the stitch, and then they will show you how in a more slower way. So we are just alternating between back post and front post. Front post and back post, front post and back post, front post and back post. That's going to be our pattern for this round. So this part that we are now working will eventually come out because we have to like fold it over, right? So this is going to be the right side now. So just go around and I'll meet you at the end here. So I came to the end of round 2, and to close it off is going to be with a slip stitch like we did with the first one. So eventually it will go like that. So we're just going to continue doing this all around, right, in one direction. So to close it off, you're going to do that with a slip stitch on top of that chain 3. And then you're going to chain 3 to start on round 3. And chain 3 counts as a stitch, so you'll go into that front post where you had the front post, make a front post, and where you had a back post, you're going to make a back post. Where you have a front post, make a front post, and then back post, front post. This is like the easiest ribbing I've ever come across. It's so fast and easy, and it's very beautiful. I just love it. So fast. Like I was thinking of making, I don't know, slip stitches, and then I thought about single crochets and the ribbing, and then just attach it, and then I said, why take so long? This is easy. So just continue repeating until you have the ribbing that you like, the length. So this is what I have, and my yarn was finished. I used 10 balls of yarn. I wanted it longer, but I didn't have any more yarn, so this is the length that I did. I did 5 inches long. I was wishing it would be about 7 maybe or more, but I didn't have the yarn, so we'll go with this. So you can make yours longer because I want to see it longer. All right, and so this is our front part. This is how it looks. I tried it on before I put the elastic bands, and this is how it is. Not very stable, but let's put the elastic bands. This is what I already did. You know, I did from the bottom, and this is the outside. So this is the inside that we won't be seeing. I did a couple of rounds. The spacing, just do it how you want to space it. It's my first time using this, so I'm also learning. But if you search YouTube, you'll find how to do so many videos that teach you on how to do this. I also did some on the other side, because that will be in the inside. But yeah, so I will just show you what I did, and this I'm going to do at the very top of the tube top so that it really holds, like your top doesn't go anywhere, you know, when you wear it and it's just pulling down or wherever. This stays with this elastic band, so I'll just attach it anywhere, and I'll be working in these little loops that were left out there. So I'll be slip stitching all through. So like I said, it's my first time, so I'm not an expert or anything with using this elastic thread. I'm just slip stitching as I go. Okay, so it's not too tight and not too loose. I still want it to snatch, like to really hold me when I put on the top, so that, you know, it's firm. So, and it stretches, so don't worry about it being too tight or anything like that. It's comfortable, so make sure you don't make it loose. Make it, or watch a video on how to do this. All right, I can't explain it. You gotta watch a video. So I came to the end, and I will just try to tighten it here. Yeah, chain one and cut yarn. Please go watch a YouTube tutorial on how to use elastic thread, because I don't know, I don't think I'm in the best position to teach you this, because I was also just doing what I thought was right. Maybe it's not, I don't know. Anyway, tighten, and tighten, and then you sew in the rest later. All right, so this is around the cube top. Now I want to do around the ribbing. I already did a part, so you'll do on the other side, okay, the side that will be in the inside, because this will be on the outside, so on the wrong side. So on the wrong side of the ribbing, because the wrong side of the ribbing and the wrong side of the top are two different things. So I already did one around the middle. Now I want to do one at the bottom, so that it's tight around the arms, so that it doesn't really fall off, like, you know. Yeah, so I'm going to do around here like this, or around. Okay, it's the same thing, I just want to show you. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm kind of going to speed this up a little bit. So reattach anywhere. I think I'll go with row 2. And we are just going to go into every back post like this. Yeah, so you're just going to go into every back post with slip stitch and all around. And I will see you once I'm done. And once you're done with this, you can do another round like I did at the top. Not at the top, but it's like in the middle. And yeah, I think that should be enough. That's enough to hold it on your shoulder. It's really firm. I've been wearing the top all day and it doesn't go anywhere. I'm amazed by this. So I went all the way around and finished that off, and once you turn it, this is how it looks. So yeah, that's our top. We are done. That's all. So in all your ends, and you have yourself an off shoulder top. I have not written a pattern for this yet, but if I do, you'll find this on my Etsy shop, or all the details in the description box and comment section. I will leave them there. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like the top. It's really pretty. I want to see myself wearing this on a long skirt or something fancy, and see how it looks. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. For those who buy my patterns on Etsy and Yancy, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. So bye.